My wife got me this for my birthday this past November, and a lot of my guitar nerd friends have asked that I review it and kind of just talk about what all I had done with it. Um, the Gibson LG-0 is an all mahogany acoustic guitar that was introduced by Gibson. I say all mahogany, but the body is the back and sides and top are mahogany, but they were introduced by Gibson in 1958 with a Brazilian rosewood bridge. And I thought that this one, when I first got it, they're really hard to pinpoint the years of these things because the serial number system back in the mid 50s and the even to the late 60s, it wasn't very good as far as record keeping goes. So it's really hard to pinpoint the year. But based on the bridge characteristics and a few other things, I've pinpointed that I think this is a 1962. But I'm going to check with Gibson just to make sure. But that being said, one of the characteristics that this guitar had was a plastic bridge, and those were introduced. Like I said, from 1958 to 61, they had Brazilian rosewood bridges on them. But in 62 all the way till 66, I believe it was, they had plastic bridges, and that was this one here. But based on what I think I figured out here, I think this is a 62. So obviously with plastic bridges, and a plastic saddle and a plastic nut here, you're not going to get the best quality. The other thing that these guitars were designed with is ladder bracing, and I'm not sure if any of you know about the bracing of the acoustic guitar, but the top has bracing underneath it as well as the back of the guitar. So the back of the guitars are typically ladder braced, which is where the bracing goes across the guitar like so. And then the tops are both ladder braced, and some guitars are X braced. The X bracing pattern that Martin had kind of patented early on is basically more conducive for a resonating top and more bass and even tone. You get more sound out of the top. It's louder, it projects more, you get more bass. So these Gibson LG-0s and also the LG-1s were introduced with ladder bracing rather than X bracing. So the design, it was a design flaw on Gibson's part, I think, to make it a ladder braced guitar. Even though this was considered a student level guitar back then, it was still crafted very nicely. It's just that the bracing wasn't really all there, and that the plastic bridge probably wasn't the best idea. But anyway, so what I did was I had set out and I found these guys, this guy down in Athens, Georgia. His name's Scott Baxendale. He owns Baxendale Guitars. He actually designs his own line of guitars, but he does a fairly cutting edge thing that a lot of people aren't doing these days. I mean, there's some people out doing it, but it's called bracing conversion. And what he does is he takes this ladder bracing that's on the top of the guitar, and he pulls the back. The first thing he does is he pulls the back of the guitar off. The guitar needed obviously a neck reset. The bridge was pulling up, and all those different things. What he also did was a plane of the fret and refretted the instrument. Did a neck reset while he had the back off. Pulled the original plastic bridge off here, and then also replicated that bridge with ebony, as you'll see here. This bridge here is nicely hand carved by Scott, and also the saddle and the nut are both bone, which is going to give you a lot more sustain on the notes and the chords. All in all, he did a phenomenal job. It was worth every penny to have it done. And so you can kind of see here, I'll show you what ladder bracing looks like as opposed to X bracing. So here you see a ladder braced back, which could be for a top either or. and then here you see X bracing. The X bracing is, again, like I said, it's going to make it sound better. So I wish that I had a before to show you how this thing was going to sound, or how it sounded before as opposed to how it's sounding now, but it's really amazing. I just can't say enough about the improvements. He also put new tuners on. I'm trying not to leave anything out that he did to it, but new tuners. Also, there was a pickup installed, a Fishman Matrix Infinity, which is a great pickup. I'm more of an LR Bags guy myself, typically, but I really am impressed with this Matrix Infinity, and I'm going to try it out for a while, and I may uninstall this one and put an LR Bags Anthem system in or something like that, or not sure what. I'm going to kind of try it out, but I think this sounds amazing, and I'm going to go ahead and play a little bit for you so you can kind of get a view of how it sounds. So it's super warm. The sustain is amazing. I'm so happy with it. It was definitely awesome. I mean, it's got such bright, punchy sound to it now. Yeah, it's amazing, and worth every penny for what it costs to do it. Probably a few things that I would do differently, and am considering doing, is I'm thinking about putting the original bridge pins back in. They were kind of discolored, which I like the fact that they were discolored. It gives that vintage look. Sometimes when you have the brand new pieces on it, it kind of takes away from the vintage side of the instrument. So I'm probably put those back on original, and then I may put the original tuners back on. They weren't in very good shape, so I may order some vintage Gibson tuners on eBay or something and put those on. But all in all, this thing is amazing, and I hope that you enjoyed my video review, and I hope it wasn't too boring.